In our fast-paced world of smartphones and instant information, we often mistake having lots of facts for being truly wise. We collect knowledge like we collect apps on our phones, but wisdom seems harder to find. This difference matters now more than ever. Wisdom helps us see beyond our usual thinking. It's like having a special lens that shows us the whole picture of a situation. When we use wisdom, we can better understand what's really important and find paths to happiness. Wisdom also helps us realize that we're connected to all living things, not separate from them. Nichiren Daishonin wrote in his letter, "The entity of the mystic law, the true entity of all phenomena, can only be understood and shared between Buddhas. This reality consists of appearance, nature, entity, power, influence, internal cause, relation, latent effect, manifest effect, and their consistency from beginning to end." This complex teaching points to the profound nature of wisdom that sees the interconnectedness of all things. Buddhist teachings describe 5 kinds of wisdom that show how wisdom works at different levels of our mind. When wisdom is active in our life, it helps us break free from our usual ways of thinking. We can look at all the facts, understand what's most important, and find our way to happiness. Buddhism also describes wisdom as being like a clear mirror that perfectly reflects reality as it is. What we see in this mirror is how our life is connected to all other life. This wisdom removes our feeling of being separate and helps us feel equal with all living things. The Lotus Sutra, one of Buddhism's most important texts, states, "The wisdom of the Buddhas is infinitely profound and immeasurable." This wisdom isn't something distant or outside ourselves, it exists within each person, waiting to be awakened. The word, Buddha, describes someone who freely uses this natural wisdom. And what makes this wisdom flow in our lives is compassion. Buddhism sees the universe and life itself as showing compassion, the weaving together of all connected things, creating and supporting life in all its amazing forms. Gautama Buddha taught that the purpose of human life is to actively participate in the compassionate workings of the universe, making life's creative energy even richer. When we act with compassion, our life aligns with the universal life force, and we show our natural wisdom. When we encourage others and share hope, we discover a larger, freer self beyond our ego. Wisdom and compassion are 2 sides of the same coin, you can't have one without the other. The great teacher Tiantai, whom Nichiren deeply respected, explained, "The true aspect can never be known through pondering, it is beyond the mind's capacity to comprehend." This reminds us that wisdom isn't just intellectual understanding but a deeper realization that comes through practice. A central part of Buddhist practice is becoming the master of one's mind. This means that the more we try to develop an unselfish spirit, the more the Buddha's wisdom awakens within us. Then we can more powerfully direct everything, our knowledge, talents, and unique personality, toward creating happiness for ourselves and others. In our modern world, we often value specialists, people who know a lot about one small area. But Buddhist wisdom values people who can see the big picture and understand how different parts connect. Modern problems like climate change, poverty, and war need more than just technical knowledge. They need the wisdom to see how these problems connect and how solutions must work together. Nichiren wrote in his treatise, on establishing the correct teaching for the peace of the land, when a country becomes disordered, it is the spirits that first show signs of rebellion. This insight from nearly 800 years ago still rings true. Our external problems often reflect internal confusion and lack of wisdom. In today's world, we face many serious problems that threaten our future. Climate change puts our environment at risk. Nuclear weapons threaten our very existence. Poverty and inequality cause suffering for millions. These problems can feel overwhelming. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us that these challenges come from our own minds and actions and can be solved the same way. The Lotus Sutra teaches about expedient means, or skillful methods that help people understand difficult truths. In modern times, this might mean finding new ways to explain ancient wisdom so it makes sense in today's world. We need to translate timeless principles into language and examples that speak to modern people's experiences. True wisdom shows itself in daily life. It's not just about understanding complex ideas but about living with kindness, courage, and hope. When we face challenges at work, conflicts in relationships, or personal struggles, Buddhist wisdom offers practical guidance. Nichiren taught his followers to regard both suffering and joy as facts of life. This realistic approach helps us stay balanced through life's ups and downs. One of the most powerful aspects of Buddhist wisdom is its focus on transformation. Buddhism teaches that even negative experiences can become sources of growth and wisdom. Nichiren wrote, "Winter always turns to spring." This simple metaphor reminds us that difficult times don't last forever and can lead to new beginnings. In our digital age, we're constantly bombarded with information. News, social media, emails, and messages compete for our attention every minute. Buddhist wisdom teaches the importance of quiet reflection and looking inward. Taking time for meditation or contemplation helps us process information and turn it into true understanding. The ancient practice of chanting helps many modern Buddhists develop wisdom. By focusing the mind through rhythmic chanting, people report experiencing greater clarity and insight. This shows that wisdom doesn't just come from thinking or studying but also from practices that quiet the logical mind and allow deeper awareness to emerge. One challenge in modern times is balancing technology with humanity. Buddhist wisdom doesn't reject technology but asks us to use it wisely. The key question is whether our tools bring people together or push them apart, whether they enhance life or diminish it. Wisdom helps us make these judgments and use technology in ways that support human happiness. The Buddha taught that everything is constantly changing, nothing stays the same. In our rapidly changing modern world, this teaching feels especially relevant. Instead of clinging to how things were or fearing change, Buddhist wisdom encourages us to embrace change as natural and full of possibility. Nichiren wrote to a follower who was facing difficulties, "Suffer what there is to suffer, enjoy what there is to enjoy. Regard both suffering and joy as facts of life." This balanced approach helps us navigate modern life's complexities without being overwhelmed by either problems or pleasures. If human history is to change and move from division and conflict toward peace and respect for all life, human beings themselves must change. Buddhist wisdom offers a powerful foundation for this transformation. By developing both wisdom and compassion, we can create a better future. The Lotus Sutra describes a future time when the Buddha's teachings will spread widely, bringing peace and harmony. While this may seem like a distant dream, Buddhist wisdom tells us that even small positive changes can grow into major transformations. Each person who develops wisdom contributes to this brighter future. Modern neuroscience is discovering what Buddhism has taught for centuries, that our minds can change throughout our lives. The brain's neuroplasticity means we can develop new habits of thinking and feeling. This scientific finding supports the Buddhist belief that wisdom can be cultivated through practice. Buddhist wisdom remains profoundly relevant in modern times. It offers a path beyond mere knowledge to true understanding. It shows us our connection to all life and guides us toward compassionate action. In a world often divided by differences, Buddhist wisdom reminds us of our shared humanity and interdependence. As we face unprecedented challenges, this ancient wisdom may provide exactly the perspective we need to create a more peaceful and sustainable future.